I just noticed that my hoodie is in the inverse marathon colors. But in any case, a Bungie, they took Destiny, a multi-billion dollar franchise, and turned it into barely $1 million franchise through making genius decisions like Lightfall, the expansion that was all centered about wokeness, of being an ally and being gay and whatnot. And needless to say, they obviously learned absolutely nothing from that disaster. Destiny is now dead, and Bungie has only one shot left, and it is Marathon. And they are already pretty much at the brink of insolvency and bankruptcy anyway. Now, granted, Sony will bail them out, obviously, but Marathon is dead on arrival. And Marathon is so dead on arrival, in fact, I can actually literally just prove it through not even a lot of numbers, just putting numbers into perspective, and every single one of you is gonna agree, wow, Marathon is dead on arrival. And it's pretty simple, okay? So let's start with the fact how many people are talking about Marathon. There's actually quite a few people talking on Twitter about Marathon and whatnot. The average Marathon post is getting 50k views, which is not a lot, by the way, but at least there's some interest. But most people are interested in seeing how hard Marathon will flop, because, well, let's be real, when your design is like this, and obviously this, when everyone is complaining about your characters looking androgynous, they them creatures, and you can't even tell them apart, it's pretty bad. But that's not the big part. The reason why we know Marathon is a short-fire disaster at launch is because of the pre-orders. Oh yes, Marathon officially from the 19th of January has been released for pre-orders. So you can get this on Steam, and Steam is the best way to get information. So, people who so we got a couple of interesting situations. How desperate, by the way, is Bungie? Well, they're extremely desperate. Because when people are pre-ordering Marathon, they are getting forcefully installed Destiny 2 on their devices also, because Bungie. I mean, this is the same level of scumminess as Blizzard did with battle passes when Diablo 4 launched, when it was one-click activatable, no questions asked thing, so everyone just gets their free battle pass getting rid of. This is pretty much the same thing. Needless to say, the fact that when you pre-order Marathon, Destiny 2 starts magically installing on your device is not a mistake. This is obviously intended. But that's just a funny onesie, okay? Honestly, Marathon, the way that they handle the vibe about the inhumanity of it is, in my opinion, the only good part of it. Everything else is kind of pretty garbage about the whole thing. The thing that I dislike the most, probably, about this garbage dumpster fire is the fact that all the weapons are just, made from blocks, and they're kind of Minecraftish, and I really hate that. But let's get into the real business. How do we know that Marathon is dead on arrival? Well, it's pretty easy. It's because of the Steam pre-orders. When the Steam pre-orders first dropped, there were a bunch of people saying, oh, look at that, the Steam pre-orders are out. And Marathon is sitting at number 2, number 5, number 3, number 7. There's a lot of things, okay? Let me explain all of them. So first of all, there's currently no other game launching. There is literally not a single other AAA game launching at the same time as Marathon. So the idea that the pre-orders for Marathon are, that the Marathon is getting like top 10 pre-orders is absolutely hilarious. It is complete nothing burger, obviously. And this was at the first day when Marathon launched. It instantaneously got pretty high because, new release by Bungie, there's literally, for God's sakes, we're talking about Neo 3 and Code Vein 2, okay? That's not a lot of competition. And we're going to use this also for a lot more contexting for real numbers. Then there are situations where Paul Tassi is saying that Marathon is not a Concord level flop because Concord never got in the top 100 best sellers on Steam. And by the way, here it's already rank 6. And it's And this one is, I think, one of the more telling ones because you need to put this into context, right? Above it is Arc Raiders, Steam Deck, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, and Warfare. The only thing that we can barely discount here is Arc Raiders. Everything else is a free-to-play game that everyone has already played. And Marathon can't beat that for pre-orders. Yes, Marathon literally cannot beat that. Games that have already existed for literally multiple years. And Marathon cannot best that. And obviously, as time goes, those were just the first days, okay? Now, listen. You're barely above Magic the Gathering Arena that has not even 15k average players every day, okay? So Marathon's completely cooked. Marathon has already dropped to number 13 when it comes to pre-orders and things like that because no one cares. The initial bump, the initial hit where there's literally no other game releasing has faded in the past couple of days, and now Marathon is dropping like a rock. I mean, it's literally trying to compete where Wins Meet, Apex Legends, Marvel Rivals, and a bunch of games that everyone has already played. There are no new people joining these games or thinking about buying these games or doing any of these things. And Marathon can't win against that. I mean, here Marathon is better than Apex Legends. Well, one below Apex Legends, and this is probably gonna be the best scenario that anyone's gonna ever tell you about Marathon, right? Apex Legends, okay, 67, nice. And it currently has 161,000 people playing, and it's averaging 200k currently. This game, everyone in that grandmother has already played Apex Legends if they're interested in playing a shooter type of game. Apex Legends also is years away from its peak at this point, and now it's just trying to stay relevant. And Marathon can't even surpass that. This is horrible. But the real one is when you look at this list for the upcoming games, and we have and here we can see 1, 2, Marathon, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yakuza, Kawami 3, Dark Ties. Do you know what that is? Well, I don't, but it's a Yakuza game, and it has currently 1,300 people playing in the demo, which launched at the 21st of January. So you need to understand, Marathon, if we're looking at these lists, is number 2, but the number 7 game is barely managing to scrape 2,000 people, not even 2,000 people below that. And currently it's not looking good, okay? It's not looking good. This is number 7. And Marathon at that time was number 2. So needless to say, there's no competition, so Marathon can claim the top spots. But the moment you actually stop, Life is Strange by the way Reunion, I have no idea what this is. But Life is Strange is a dead franchise. I love the first Life is Strange. I'm not gonna go on another Life is Strange is amazing rant, but it is amazing. But after the original game, Life is Strange kind of faded into relevance because it became shit. And Marathon is just one above that. There are people interested in Marathon, but most people are interested to just see how absolutely ginormously can Marathon crash and burn because it's just not gonna make it, okay? The vibe could have been better, but too bad their art direction was absolute garbage. Okay, this is going to be a discount. Arc Raiders is best for most people. And considering the stats that we can see and compare it to, it doesn't seem like Marathon's going to get anything done. How many people will Marathon have at release? It's hard to say, honestly. 3k, 5k, maybe 10k. Super Black Swan event, 50k. I honestly hope, actually, it has a high number, so it can die in like 2 days, so I can farm a second video of Marathon dying. Not only the day that it gets released, I'm gonna farm it to see its numbers, if it's doing good or bad, but we're gonna also farm it when it dies, because it doesn't matter how many people play this game. it's dead. It will not last. This game is just not interesting enough. It's kind of boring, okay? Again, these are your characters, and I mean, I don't want to know what's happening here or why it's happening. The vibe is a little bit okayish, you know, with stuff like this. It doesn't seem that bad, but I mean, a vibe like this can only get you honestly that far because it doesn't feel like that in game or anything, so you're kind of cooked. In any case, Marathon is dead on arrival. I think most people know that. And well, that's it. Have a nice day. Bye.